You decided you're going to cut down a tree. What do you look for in a tree? Well, I keep a few things in mind. One is whoa, don't let your eyes be bigger than your chainsaw. This might be tempting, but good Lord, you got a 5-foot bar? Ain't gonna happen. Do you have a 5-foot swing on your lathe? No. Do you happen to have a crane? You're not getting this in the truck. So take your sights down just a little bit and your expectations a little lower. Now, species of wood is a little bit important too. This is a cedar tree. It's gonna be really sticky, really gummy. The wood will crack very quickly when you start to turn it or cut it. The other thing is where are you gonna get a bowl out of it? This wood is so messed up with knot holes and cut off branches that it really be a waste of your time to try to cut that one down. So, nah, we'll pass on that one. Now this tree has a lot of options. I like it. Oak is kind of fun to turn. It's a little hard, but that's okay. But the options are, we've got several things going on here. See the branches. This crotchwood right here, when you harvest this, makes a beautiful flame pattern in the grain. You can make great platters, interesting bowls off of that. As you work your way down, the diameter's a little bit big, but if you think about it, you're cutting it in half, so you can get yourself a good 20-inch bowl out of each side. You know, as a wood turner, the day will come when you get that phone call from a friend, hey, I've got a tree. Well, if they need a tree taken down, it's like this one, out in the field, away from everything, no power lines overhead, this is a good tree that you can cut down. It's nice, it's safe, and it's easy. If they need it removed, do your friend a favor, and you wind up with some wood to make some bowls. Now, if your friend's tree is like this one and near a structure or near power lines or anything that you could damage, leave it for a professional because you don't want to touch something like this. It's not worth the risk. You don't need the wood that bad. And remember, don't just cut down a tree because you want to make a bowl, because something as magnificent as this deserves to live. After all, as wood turners, we're here to honor the tree. You know, when you think of lighting, your shop's probably like mine. You have a bunch of fluorescent lights on the ceiling, nice even lighting, but for a turner that really doesn't help you out. If you think about it, the sun's straight overhead right now, so that's the lighting like we have from the fluorescents. And here's our wood. Looks really good, right? Well, if you turn it at an angle, all of a sudden you start to see shadows and lines where we need to get rid of those tool marks. That's why in your shop you need to make sure you have some lighting that's coming from the side. And if it's adjustable, that's even better because you can put the light over here, move it around, get it to the angle where you can see the defects in the wood. We want it to look pretty once it's off the lathe, but when it's on the lathe, make it look as ugly as possible because then you can get rid of all those defects. You know, for wood turners, a bevel is often confusing. What is it and what does it do for me? Well, I could show you with a tool, but it's tiny. Or I could do something silly like take a pencil and a knife. That wouldn't do it either, because when with wood turning with Tim, we do things big. We're gonna do it with a snow shovel. Now think of the snow shovel as your tool that you just got off the grinder. Here's the nice sharp edge, here's the bevel that was against the grinder. Now the bevel is kind of our depth gauge. It helps us gauge our cut. You talk about riding the bevel all the time, right? Well, if you don't ride the bevel, what do you get? A catch. The tool just digs right into the wood because you didn't put any of the bevel on the wood first. However, you put too much bevel on the wood, it slides. You don't get a cut because the tip isn't engaging the wood. However, if you ride the bevel just right, tip it up, the edge starts to cut, and that's how you get your shavings of wood. So the bevel is your depth gauge. It helps you judge whether you're taking a fine cut, a deeper cut, no cut, or a catch. I think that covers it fairly well. Have you ever been turning a burl on the lathe and it has lots of cracks in it? The first thought for a new turner is, oh my gosh, my tool's gonna fall into those crevices and I'm gonna have a huge explosion. Well, you won't if you set the speed right on your lathe. And it is about speed. In this case, more speed the better. Think about it this way. Say this rock is your tool and the water is the wood. If you don't have enough speed, it's gonna go right in. So if the lathe is too slow, your tool will drop into the void. However, you pick the speed up, it'll go like this. It'll skip across the voids. So in this case, as a turner, speed is your friend. By speeding the lathe up, the tool will skip across the voids just like the stone did on the water, and you'll get a clean, safe cut.